is Dr. George, and I'm in my she shed, so it's a little different today because I was working. I was like, I'll just stay out here. So I hope you're watching. I know it's a little delayed, but I have a very special guest and a former scholar and their mom, and we have a very special book tonight. Is Nathan's Autism Spectrum Superpowers. Now I have to tag one lady in this post because she's the one that said, can you do this story? And I was like, sure, I can do this. So I'm going to tag her right quick, but I'm going to invite my two guests up. So hi, Malachi, Miss Angelique, how are you?
Fine, good.
So Malachi, how are you?
Good.
Good. I like you using your words, Malachi. So Miss Smith, tell us a little bit of why you're our special guest tonight, because we're reading Nathan's Autism Spectrum Superpowers, and his name isn't Nathan. So why would Malachi be on here?
Because Malachi has autism.
And Malachi has a superpower that a lot of kids don't have. And so I can share this. I met Malachi when he was pre-K, not even in school. And I remember him when it was Meet the Principal, the barbecue. He was running around and he was starting that year. And he went from not talking to talking. So I'm glad to see the advance. Now we wanted someone also that, and we have Malachi on, and Malachi knows if he gets tired, he can tell us, because we don't want to give a false sense of children that are on the spectrum of that he can tolerate talking to us all that time. And we don't want kids to think that we can make him do anything because he has a mind of his own, just like everyone else. Right. So this book was written by Lori Lee Yarborough. And I talked with her and she was like, I can't make it, but she'll look at it. So this is her first book she wrote. And Nathan Austin is wonderfully made. And I'm so very thankful for you. And Malachi, guess what? You're wonderfully made too, buddy. Yeah, you are. So, hi, my name is Nathan and I have superpowers. So Malachi, do you have a cape like this? Do you? No, well, I don't think we can see the cape. So it says, okay, so my superpowers don't include superhuman strength or the ability to fly, although that would be very cool. My powers come from my autism spectrum abilities. Autism affects how I interact with other people in the world around me, how I communicate with others, and how I learn and process information. The official term is autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, but I just say autism. Spectrum means kids with autism have a range of their own unique abilities and challenges. For example, some kids on the spectrum are nonverbal. Now, Malachi, can you talk?
Can you talk?
So use your words. Use your words.
Yes, ma'am.
So Malachi isn't nonverbal, even though sometimes he shakes his head, but so do we. That means they don't use words to express themselves. Other kids on the spectrum not only talk, but will sometimes use really big words. Miss Smith, does something come out of Malachi's mouth sometimes and you're like, where'd you learn that?
Yes.
So they have a really big vocabulary that sometimes we need a dictionary for. But all kids on the spectrum have some aspect of communication delay. So even though they all can talk, Malachi may not answer you right away. It may take him a little while. My nephew Sean, who's 22, when he gets ready to answer, which he uses his words, he will tap his leg. And when he's tapping, he's coming back with something that you probably need to probably tell him you don't say that or something like that. So we have some comments. Yeah, hi, Rochelle and Patrick are watching. Love this. Miss Fehrenbacher, your art teacher, said, hello, Malachi. Hello. And mom, Angelique. And then Bonnie says, hey, y'all. And Rosalind Richard says, hello, Malachi. And she's from Louisiana. Oh. And Ms. Fehrenbacher said, yes, he's got many superpowers. Jamie Goldberg says he's too cute. And Ms. Fehrenbacher says, she's telling secrets already. She says she remembers how he can draw color and love art class. So Malachi, you do have superpowers. Oh, look at this. So that's a nonverbal gesture that we do. And look, we have a dad that brings his kids on all the time. Ava, Ari, and Pop Pop. So I'm glad
Okay.
Ava and Ari watching because it will help your kids communicate and adults communicate with the kids. And Ms. Rosalind sent you 5 hearts. Now I've been her friend for quite some time and I've never gotten 5 hearts. I'm a little jealous, Malachi, just a little bit. So let me tell you about my superpowers and how they affect my interaction with the world. If you don't have autism superpowers, don't worry. It doesn't mean you're any less awesome. It just means we interact differently with the world around us. Right, Malachi? Yes. Dominique says hi. If you do have autism superpowers, you still might not have the same ones I have because of how we process information on our own in our own ways. An example of this is most kids with autism usually underreact. That's the Malachi I met, which means they're hyposensitive, or the Malachi now, he's overreacting, hypersensory. So he's like, woo, because we didn't practice before. He jumped right in and he's doing so well. To sensory input. So we have trouble with sensory information. These are things we see, we hear, taste, smell, touch, and even the way we move around. Our bodies can think the sensory information is too strong, and then we want to avoid it, or the sensory information is too weak, and then we seek it out. So that's why Malachi right now is not worried about us at all. And we kind of knew that, but so Malachi he's seeking it out. He's trying to see why is he even here, and we understand that. Now, the first superpower. So I want to know: do you have supersonic hearing, Malachi? Do you hear everything?
You hear me?
Do loud noises bother you?
Do loud noises bother you?
No.
No. Okay. Well, let's hear. Let's see what they say. He said, Ms. Fehrenbacher said, Malachi still has his wonderful smile and sense of humor. Yes, he does. And all the sass to go with it. So noises seem much louder to me than they do to most people. Blaring music, fireworks booming, people yelling. Now, I know Malachi does not like to be yelled at, but nobody does. Those things drive me crazy. Want to know what else bothers me? The buzz of light bulbs. And you know how you can sometimes hear that? They said that can be bothersome. The hand dryers in public restrooms, and the loud hum of a vacuum, they may seem like background noise to others, but when I hear them, I just can't think. Sometimes when my supersonic hearing takes over, I can't pay attention when I should. Other times, I curl up in the corner with my hands over my ears to try and block out the noise. So do you ever see Malachi doing that, putting his hands over his ears?
When he have to flush the toilet in a public restroom.
So he doesn't like that sound.
Yes.
Okay. And thank you for sharing that. Helpful hints for friends. So if you know Malachi at school or another child that's on the spectrum, I'm going to give you a hint. If your friend becomes overwhelmed by his supersonic hearing, he won't be able to figure out what to do. If you see him covering his ears, you can help him find a quiet place where he can regroup. Headphones also help block out too much sound. So maybe when he uses the bathroom, have a special pair of headphones that puts them on. Mm-hmm. If your friend is distracted by background noise and can't pay attention, try and help him figure out what it is and see if he can move to another room or even stop the noise. So that's some help. And look at this little boy, Malachi. Do you do that sometimes? Put your hands over your ears? Yeah, you do.
I do this at Monero.
You do that? I love all these full sentences, Malachi. Oh my goodness, Malachi. This is beautiful. So another superpower I have is what I like to call absolute select focus. I remember talking about with this, that some things hold his attention and others he's like,
Right.
It's called ASF for short. So all this means is that I can choose to focus every ounce of my energy and thought and attention into one thing or one activity. What is that one thing that Malachi does and you don't have to tell him to do it? He will do it. What is that one thing, if you don't mind sharing?
He would just go off and start drawing.
Drawing. So Miss
Yes.
Fernbacher, wink, wink. Hello, Lillian Brown. How are you?
Oh, we know Lillian.
And that makes me happy. Too much going on around me feels overwhelming. So I enjoy having just one thing at a time to concentrate on. I love to lie on the floor and roll my wooden trains back and forth on their tracks all day long, or line up all my Matchbox cars in a perfect row, or construct creations with brick sets. I even love to draw funny doodles. He does the same thing, Malachi. Funny doodles and intricate mazes and full origami creations. I can pay attention to something I'm interested in for hours and hours and be perfectly content. And then you come along and you say, Malachi, can you come and do this? And it's a fight. So just know you're a great mom, but Malachi's ASF, that's what he's doing. So does he still like his collection of cars and trucks? Miss Fehrenbacher wants to know.
He like action figures now, so he will keep like Five Nights at Freddy. He wants every action figure, and sometimes we repeatedly buy them because he breaks them and wants them again. But other than that, he like his action figures more now.
And that sounds, I love that. Absolutely.
My favorite character from Five Nights at Freddy's. Wait, all the characters: Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Flatbear, and Freddy Fazbear. Freddy Fazbear
Okay.
and
When
Foxy.
when I tell you that I've never heard this much, and I've been with him since pre-K. When you said he had blossomed, you didn't give me enough information. I'm like mind blown. Lillian says she's doing fine. So helpful hints for friends. If you want to play with your friend with autism, you might need to be part of what he's super focused on, or she. You can also help by playing next to her or him with other friends until they feel like joining. That's called parallel play.
Here.
If your friend is not focused on the correct activity, sometimes a time timer, that is, I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's called a time timer, can help her see or him see a set of amount of time they need to focus on something important before going back to what he really wants to do. So Miss Fehrenbacher is sitting there and she says, wow, that's awesome. It is, Miss Fehrenbacher. Miss when we talked, she gave me a little bit of information, but I'm gonna have to talk to her after because I mean, geez. And this is great, Miss Smith. And I'll say this because I watched you fight. I watched you fight on TikTok. I watch you fight for your son's education, and it pays off. So if you have a child that is struggling, fight. If you don't know how to fight, contact Miss Angelique Smith. And she will put you in contact with the right people, or she will give you guidance. But do not just allow your child to be, because people won't put the time in that you're willing to. And Miss Gwendolyn O'Day Scott Lee. Hello, Belinda. You're awesome indeed. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Thank you. Thank you. So, my next superpower is my ability to have complete confidence in my plan A. So, let's see what that means. Do you have an idea what that means, Miss Smith? Malachi shook his head already. Okay, so this isn't actually a superpower. This is more to do with my unique toolbox. My mom says everyone is born with the toolbox.
Mm.
Instead of hammers and pliers, this kind of toolbox has things to help me deal with different situations. My toolbox was missing a couple of items, like a plan B. This basically means when something happens, I only have one way to deal with it. If my plan A doesn't work, I have no idea what to do next. So children with autism, they have plan A, and that's the only solution. So they have nothing, nada, zilch. So sometimes when the plan A doesn't work out, they get frustrated and they lose control and yell or run into a wall because they don't know what else to do. They don't know what else to do. Luckily, I have my mom who is very good at putting on her calm face and modeling plan B for me. She shows me how to deal with a situation step by step, over and over again, until I finally understand what to do next. So, Ms. Smith, do you mind sharing something that Malachi struggles with?
Well, I know in the past, Like before he started PPCD, he would fall out on the ground, like because he wasn't communicating. So he used to have that thing where he just fall to the floor, and I'm like, so I had to regain composure and get him up off the floor and ask him what is it that he really wants, because he was really trying to communicate want that he wanted at that time. But as of today, he's grown out of that, and something that he does now, I can't even think of nothing.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Malachi, what is what makes you upset?
Mm,
I see his facial expression. He did his upset face. What's something that makes you upset?
What makes you say?
Might have something to do with you, Miss Smith. He did look at you.
Probably when I'm fussing at him.
When your mom fusses, Malachi?
mm-hmm.
So you
Oh,
say,
and what do you do when she fusses?
Looking for my glasses.
oh, he said I was fussing at him because he lost his glasses.
You were fussing at him too, I bet. And how
How
does that make you feel, Malachi?
it makes you feel? Sad, happy, um,
Happy.
You felt,
happy. No, it makes you feel sad because you put on that pouty face, like that.
but maybe he's meaning when he finds his glasses.
Oh yeah, when he find his glasses, yes.
Yeah, he's happy. And his answers are going to be processed differently. We have some messages for you. Yes, Miss Smith is an amazing advocate for her son. Thank you, Miss Bonnie, for sharing that. Miss Fehrenbacher said, my internet service here is bad, so I'm behind. Just want you to say how proud I am of you and Malachi and how grown up you are, and keep drawing and learning new things. That's a sweet
Thank
message, Malachi.
you. Yes.
So Mom calls it putting tools in my toolbox. So it turns out that it's really great to have those tools and know how to use them. Thanks, Mom. So he won't have a physical toolbox, but if he was falling out and the first time that it worked, that's how he learns to deal with it. So
Right.
then you have to model, don't fall on the floor, and it may not catch the first time, just like with regular kids without being on a spectrum. But if you keep modeling, it'll happen. So, helpful hints for his friends. If your friend with autism is doing something that doesn't go the way he planned and has a meltdown, it's just because he has no idea what to do next. And so Pop Pop says, yes, it does. Help him find a plan B or another way to finish what he's trying to do. Sometimes this can take a very, what is he saying? I want him to get his words out. What did he say?
And then my hand.
Oh, he's bleeding. Okay.
Oh, you're bleeding?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We're gonna get a tissue.
And he did it too. So sometimes it can take a very long time, months or years of modeling a plan B for it to become a part of his toolbox. So the next thing we're going to learn about is a super sniffer. Do you have any idea what his superpower overwhelming can be with a super sniffer? So what is his issue before I even read it?
With sniffing with the nose, he sniffs his food.
He sniffs his food.
Yes, so like we go to McDonald's, he get the same thing every time.
Mhm.
But he gonna look at the burger, he gonna smell it, and if it smell like vegetables, he's not gonna eat it.
Oh, so he doesn't like vegetables.
No, he does not like vegetables, and he don't want it near his food.
Got it. So no lettuce and tomatoes.
No lettuce, no tomato, none of they little white onions that they have. He don't want that near his food.
And mayonnaise.
Oh,
And mayonnaise.
and mayonnaise. Okay.
That's right, Malachi. I'll give you mayo. I don't blame you. I don't like mustard like that. I'm not going to eat it. So thank you for telling us, Malachi. So Nathan doesn't like strong smells like body odor. Or, oh, look at Kevin Reed. And Kevin Reed does real estate, and he said onions are yucky. So he doesn't like them either, Malachi. Especially he doesn't like body odor. He doesn't like bad breath. He doesn't like perfumes or even scented lotion. Nobody likes bad breath.
Right.
Some foods even offend my super sniffer, like onions and vegetables. So if you suddenly leave an area or make a remark about a smell, just blame it on Malachi, super sniffer. Interestingly, interestingly, some kids with autism love strong smells, and their super sniffer seeks them out. Now, here are things you can do to help Malachi with that. If he has trouble with smells, don't wear the strong scents around him. Don't cook the foods while he's there. Be understanding if he leaves the room because his sensory system is bothered by certain smells. On the other hand, if he loves the smells, help him find appropriate or good things to use his super sniffer on. So if he's good at sniffing out stuff, good. Malachi, Pop said, "Welcome to the club, Malachi." He doesn't like those smells either. So there we go. He doesn't like them. Now, his superpower of intense, enhanced eyesight. Now, have you noticed anything with his eyesight that is supernatural or
Mm,
superpower?
no.
No. Let's see. Once we read it, it might. So
Right.
it seems to kick in when I'm somewhere with strobe lights, bright lights, or blinking lights. So he does. So you want to share that?
When we go to urban air, in the ball pit it has neon lights just flashing. I've noticed that he would just go lay in the ball pit and look up for a long time. I'm like, what? So that's one of his superpowers that
And I
he'll
like
look.
trampoline.
Oh, and he likes the trampoline.
And you like the trampoline. Me too. I'm just too.
And I'm trying to fly.
You try to fly, Malachi. When you get my age, you're gonna wish you could fly. You're gonna lay on a trampoline too. You're not gonna jump.
And I'm trying to do
Oh, you try to fly.
Okay.
Sometimes with ordinary ceiling lights, my eyes overact and my whole system goes haywire. When this happens, my only hope is to cover my face to block out as much as I can. Moms can move you somewhere that doesn't bother you, or sometimes it means just stopping our activities for the day and going home. Now, bright lights can really bother people, but if you get upset or covers his eyes, then that's probably what's going on. But he likes looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
And lead him to a place that's not so bright, or try and turn off some of the lights in the room. So if he loves the lights, here you go, Miss Smith. Find fun things to look at, like light up toys, fiber optics, fun bubble lamps. So it sounds like Dr. George will be getting Malachi one of those lights that's on the ceiling for his room
Yes.
to try to help. So I'll get with you to see which one to get him.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
the next one, Malachi, superpower, masterful memory. Do you remember a lot, Malachi?
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that you remember?
Remember, you noticed when Nene painted her house and nobody told you.
What did you say, Malachi?
I'm saying I noticed my Nini Tana
Mm-hmm.
and paint our house. Paint our house is her house. I know. I know what color it is.
Okay.
It's pink.
Mm-hmm.
What color was it?
Pink.
But what color?
What color is it now?
What color is it now?
Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Blue. Yeah, I would have been still waiting for the. I would have been trying to remember the color it is now and the color it was. So I love reading and learning about my favorite subjects. He's memorized books and even know which pages contain which facts. Of course, that only applies to information that interests me. I enjoy facts, lots and lots of facts. It might surprise you, but even though I love facts, I have a very hard time remembering people's names and faces. So, Malachi, what is my name?
No, it is not Miss Buford.
But that shows in here. He can remember the color of the wall, but names are a struggle. Do you
Right.
know my name, Malachi?
What's her name? What is it?
Doctor
Dr.
George. Yeah. Do you remember who used to work with me? The lady that worked with me?
Homer Dry School.
Yeah, Homer Drive. Do you remember what's the nurse's name?
Nurse.
Nurse. And do you remember Miss Flowers?
With flowers.
Yeah. You probably never had to see her. So I've been told it's because faces have a lot of movement and information, and that it can be overwhelming. But give me a minifigure dictionary, and I can memorize every single character along with the year it was made. And so Malachi can probably tell us on Freddy, what is it? Freddy, what is it?
Five Nights at Freddy.
Five Nights of Freddy. So Five Nights of Freddy. Katina Williams, she wants you to watch. If you missed it, I'm giving you a shout out. So Malachi, Five Nights of Freddy. What is your favorite episode?
Episode.
Mhm.
My favorite episode is
I don't watch this, so I don't know.
What is it about?
he talking about it. It's something of Five Nights at Freddy's movie Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Yeah, see what I mean? Oh, that's him. Well, that's just what it said here. Could memorize every single thing about it. Well,
So,
let your friends with autism teach you about what he loves.
Oh,
If he forgets your name, just smile and tell him again, like we did tonight. And you might even help him come up with a way to remember. For example, if the name is Lily, tell him to think of a flower when they see you. So Malachi, look what he has a book of. It says a complete book of many figures. So Nathan likes the same things you like.
ooh,
What?
that's cool.
who this?
Yes. That's pretty cool, right?
And,
Are you okay, Malachi? You want to keep going?
mhm.
Okay. So a superpower that can be frustrating when my routine changes. Regular routine retention.
Oh,
Yes. So that means I love a routine. Eating the same thing for breakfast every morning, doing the same activities during the day, going to the same places and staying there for the same amount of time. I hate change. Change is my kryptonite. Change comes from the dark side.
dang.
I need to know way ahead of time if things are going to be different. So, do you like change, Malachi?
You like change?
Change.
Like
Yeah.
if I say no, you're not gonna eat a brownie this morning. You're gonna eat cereal. Don't like that, do you?
No.
I love his eyes like, and you better not try it. So Malachi, what if I took you to McDonald's? You like McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
And what if I got you chicken nuggets?
Chicken nugget.
Yeah, the tone. Yeah. Would you eat that?
Yeah.
Okay. What about a burger with lettuce and onions and mayonnaise?
No. I want cheese and meat, bread and bread. I want French fries and the chicken nuggets and the Powerade. I like the favorite drink, Powerade and Sprite and Coke.
Oh, so if I gave you high C, you wouldn't like that, right? Maybe. Well, at least you're trying. At least you're trying. The next superpower, and it says that changing plans can be hard. Let him know as soon as possible. Give him a typed out schedule so it can make it easier. And if he becomes upset about a routine change, tell him that you know how he feels and help him understand that we can't always control what happens in our day. So the next superpower, Malachi, is actual, factual, literal power, which means if I say it's raining cats and dogs, what does that mean, Malachi? If I say it's raining cats and dogs, what does that mean?
It's raining cats and dogs. What that mean?
That means it's raining a lot.
Oh, well, you tripped me up. It does. It does mean it's raining a lot. Pop says if tomatoes belong on hamburgers, then they would be on steaks. And he's right, because beef is beef. That's good. That's a good way of thinking. Malachi agrees. I literally take things literally, except for Malachi. He's got that thinking going, which means if you tell me a joke, I may not get the funny part. I may take what you say and believe it exactly the way you said it. I'm not even kidding. I see things in black and white. That means I don't understand sarcasm and I don't like surprises. This also means I like things to make sense in a way I can understand. So Malachi, when he heard raining cats and dogs, he really thought cats and dogs fall from the sky.
Oh.
Yeah, he thought that. So Malachi, you won't get sly jokes or sarcasm, or you'll be extra honest to goodness. Believe you meant what you said. He's going to think that what you said was true. And that's very frustrating, but you can explain the joke and point out why it's funny to help understand. Do you know any jokes, Malachi?
Mm-hmm.
Let's tell me a joke.
A joke is
It's funny.
Mhm.
We can laughing. So I say, why did the chicken cross the road? Why did
Because he went in the bridge.
he went on the bridge? Well, to get to the other side. So basically what you said, Malachi. And Miss Rochelle Bridges, who's an author as well, she said, I don't get sarcasm either, Malachi. It's such a waste of time. So Malachi, the next thing we have, there are good and bad things about having superpowers. The bad is that my powers don't come with a reaction regulator. It's very hard to regulate or control my emotions. When I get hurt or scared or frustration, my emotions go straight from feeling great to ready to explode. And I completely overreact. My mom made a scale for me to help visualize what my reaction should be when different things happen. I call this my reaction regulator. So Miss Bonnie, is that her name, Miss Bonnie? And Miss Angelique, here's a little tool. Miss Bonnie might have this in her belt. So it has numbers from 1 to 5 to go along with emotion levels. It goes something like this. Mom points to the reaction scale and says, Nathan, you lost your favorite minifigure. That is a 2, which is the same as bummer, but not a total emergency. You need to bring your emotions and reaction down to a 2. And Miss Rochelle says she loved your joke. Great joke, Malachi, about the chicken went to the bridge. Mm-hmm. So, Malachi, when Malachi start yelling or gets upset, don't panic. Just keep calm, quiet voice. Try to figure out why he's upset and give them a number on the scale. So let me show you the scale here. So this is the scale. Total emergency. So Malachi, if you look at this, 5 is a total emergency. It means you can go crazy. 4, you're having a bad day and it's okay to be sad. 3, not going as planned. Take a movement and then move on. 2, unexpected situation, bummer, not a big deal. Life is good, be happy. So, Malachi, I'm going to check your reaction regulator. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Malachi, what if I came into your house and took all of your minifigures and brought them home and you didn't get them back?
I will hide them.
You're going to hide them, but I already have them. How would that make you feel?
Sad.
Sad. So maybe that would be a number 4, you know? So he's allowed to have a number 4. So he won't freak out and start running around and ringing the 5, the 5 bell siren. So good job, Malachi. So my brain is always thinking about something. This is called perpetual automatic brain activation. That's a big word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, perpetual automatic brain activation. So Malachi, what are you thinking about right now? Malachi?
What you thinking about?
I'm thinking about I can't draw.
That you can that would be perpetual automatic brain activation. And he's got his marker in his hand. I'll just be sitting there somewhere trying to pay attention when my brain starts thinking about something completely different and I can't make it stop. A lot of times I'm thinking about several things at once, like doodling or drawing, like Malachi is now, working on my favorite video game creation and my current building brick project, all at the same time. Malachi's thinking, so Malachi's trying to listen, look at his figurine, possibly try to draw. And she just took his notebook. Oh my goodness. It's very hard to pay attention to what I'm supposed to be thinking about with my. So Malachi, you want to know why you want to draw? I'm going to give you a big word. It's called perpetual automatic brain activation. You got it?
Didn't know it.
Big word. She said, Miss Fehrenbacher wants to know if you drew Freddie.
Have you done Freddie?
Okay. How about draw a cat?
Okay, we'll let you draw Freddie. You can draw Freddie and then show us at the end.
How about draw a cat and Freddy?
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll look at it later, okay?
Okay.
So, I feel like I'm completely locked into my current project and I can't leave until I finish these superpowers. What is the guy to do? So if he's thinking about a project and can't move on, Miss Smith, you can help. Figure out how to finish the activity or come up with a time to come back to it. Writing down his projects in a small notebook might help him to understand it's okay to take a break and come back later. So that's something that can help you. Now, if you're on the autism spectrum, you probably have some of the same superpowers as me and also some that are unique to you. So in this book, and I'll get Malachi a copy of this book and you, and on here, Malachi can write down his superpowers, but because he's on the spectrum, it does not mean that he's going to be exactly like another kid on the spectrum.
Yes.
So things that Malachi superpowers, I'll make sure you get a copy of this book and you and Malachi can work on that. Now it says you have supervised powers. You are awesome. You are uniquely you. And those of you that are watching, if you have questions for Miss Smith, or you think maybe my child may be on the spectrum, or maybe I'm on the spectrum, you can ask her a couple of questions. Now, Miss Bonnie may be able to answer, but Miss Smith may have some. Now, remember, she knows about autism as general, but she can't pinpoint each person because they're all so different. Now, energy levels. My mom helped me figure out activities that are energy draining and activities that are energy building. I usually imagine my energy levels like a battery. So sometimes I tell my mom how much percent my battery has left. So I have a question. Why do you think he's in this little cocoon, Miss Smith?
Take a break.
Take a break. Yeah, to take a break. And I wish I had a cocoon in my she shed because I would definitely be in it. I'm powering down. I'm at 15%. We try and limit energy draining activities and add energy building activities into my schedule. This really helps me deal with life better, and the energy builders recharge my battery. So these are things that drain Nathan. Now, when you get this book, you'll be able to say things that drain Malachi. So if you go spend the night with somebody else, you can give them those notes. So you know this is a trigger. So leaving the house drains him. Field trips. Nathan doesn't want to go on field trips. Eating, traveling, and sports. Now, things that give some energy: building blocks, building bricks, doodling, swinging or spinning, video games, or a heavy blanket. So you want to think about Malachi's energy drainers and his energy builders. You probably know those.
It's almost done.
Yeah.
Say, Malachi?
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
It's almost finished the drawing.
Oh, okay.
We're working on your drawing.
We're going to present it at the end. So, encouragement. All of my superpowers put together can sometimes make me seem what people call socially awkward. So I don't get jokes. I can't read body language. I don't care what I wear as long as my clothes are soft and loose. I prefer to process life like a robot. I just don't act or respond the same as other kids my age. Until people understand my supervisors, my superpowers, they won't ever fully understand me and appreciate me for who I am. For now, I'm going to appreciate my own autism spectrum superpowers and encourage others to appreciate people for who they are. Well, that was exhausting. I'm going to go play with my building blocks in my room by myself. So does Malachi like to be by himself?
Yes.
So Malachi, you made it all the way to the end. So Nathan goes into his room and he does nothing else. Now on this last page, the book is published by 139 Inspired Book and is written about a specific child in cooperation with his or her parents. So this book was written with the parents. The information given is that about that particular child's superpowers, but will be relatable to other children with the same diagnosis and abilities. This book is a tool to help children and their friends, families, and caregivers understand kids with superpowers. All children need to know they're wanted, loved, and special. All children need to know they have superpowers, and all children especially need to know they're wonderfully made. So she put a Bible verse in there, and I know you'll like this. It says, I will praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalms 139:14. So there's a Bible verse just for you, Malachi. The inspirational art on the next page has been designed especially for you. So, Malachi,
Wait.
you'll be able to tear it out and put it in the frame. So, here is the painting that they made just for you, Malachi. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalms 139:14. So, Malachi, I'm going to go a step further, and it may take you a while to get your book, but I'm going to ask Lori to write this book to Malachi, to autograph it for Malachi. And
Thank you.
I'll contact her tonight. Malachi, you ready to show us your drawing, buddy?
Show your drawing.
Oh wait. I draw black and purple. Okay. See that?
It's Freddie.
Look, well, let's see Freddie.
Show Freddie.
Well, that is identical. I must have bending down of the ears, the hands, the joints. He even got the joints. Talk about detail. Miss Fahrenbacher. Look at that, Miss Fahrenbacher. That's pretty awesome. I love that, Malachi. Malachi, is there anything else you want to tell us?
Anything else you want to tell him?
What is it? You don't know
So
what,
this
like, I don't know what he's
this
going to say.
drawing. So it came with Freddie Backer, and I lost my colors. So
Oh, he said he lost his colors.
I need brown.
He needed to be brown and some other colors.
Oh, I got it. But I love that you did it anyway. That's a superpower.
Purple for the big Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy, and Chica supposed to be yellow.
Oh, so you had the wrong colors. That's okay. Miss Fahrenbacher said, wow, what a great drawing. I think you learned so much. I'm so proud of you. And Ollie says, awesome art work, Malachi.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can raffle off that drawing you have. Are you willing to sell me that drawing, Malachi?
Let me draw a cat.
Yeah, but will you sell me your Freddie? Will you sell me the picture that you just drew?
For this?
Could I buy it? Yeah, can I buy it?
Yeah, you can buy it for free.
Oh, so you won't even charge me any money?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Malachi. Are you ready? I am going to buy you markers. So you can have all of your colors. And I'm going to buy you an etch pad.
Oh, thank you.
So you have a book like this, Malachi, with blank pages, and you can put all your drawings in there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I have a lot of things I have to give you, and we still have comments. So Rochelle said, Patrick and I absolutely love this. He said, that's pretty good. So her son said, that's pretty good. Ollie said, oh, you're so kind. Pop said, $500,000. Wow, you said for Freddie? $500,000, Malachi. Did you see that expression you brought out of him, Pop? And then Jamie says, oh, I love it. So, Malachi, I think you have a fan base here. Thank you so much. Now, Miss Angelique, is there anything that you want us to know about autism that maybe we didn't cover, or maybe that's a stigmatism or a stereotype about kids on the spectrum?
No matter what the disability is, include them with others. Never just try to keep them home because you don't feel like, but include them. They have organizations out there that help kids with disabilities that include them in everything. It's just that you have to do your research and find what's in your community.
Yeah, and there's a color that's associated with autism. What's that color?
The puzzle piece they use.
Puzzle piece, but there's one specific color in a
blue.
Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think
we have our autism shirts on.
Oh, you have them on. Oh, I love it. Malachi, look what Dr. George just did just for you. I did use the blue.
Oh,
We changed the color. I love the shirts. So, is there an organization locally that we can support?
we have the Arc of Greater Beaumont, and we have Adaptive Sports. Those are the two places that I know of right now that's very safe for you and your kids to attend their activities. Like, you'll feel so safe. It's a great environment. Yes.
Good. So now I have to say this. Now you mentioned the Arc of Greater Beaumont, and I'm going to put that in, and they have them in all cities. So I'm going to put that link to ours there. So if there are children in there, not just with autism, but with any ability or superpower, you can put them in. Now they do have a celebrity style show, and she's being really, really sweet about not bragging. But Malachi is a model, and if you go to their Facebook page, yeah, nobody told you how Malachi. Malachi, Malachi is modeling for the style show, and that's April 26th from 6 to 10, and is at the Holiday Inn and Suites of Beaumont. And there, they still need sponsorship. You can buy tickets. You can sponsor a model. I think it's $50, and so you can sponsor one of the models and get support the Arc and Malachi. I'm going to get a ticket. I'll be there to see Malachi model. And so we have lots of other comments. So let me put those up there so you can see them. So my aunt says Malachi is very generous, and he is. If you can see in Priscilla down here, she looks like me. And then, whoa, Ollie's like, whoa, yeah, that price. And Pop put a heart, and Aunt Priscilla said, great job, Miss Smith. It takes a special mom to raise a special child. And Ollie said, love the shirts. Miss Fehrenbacher said, you do a great job keeping Malachi inspired and supported in school and in the community. And Pop said, I was a scoutmaster in the Boy Scouts, and we had several kids with special skills. So that may be something that you can put him in as Boy Scouts. So there you go. And then Camille, you remember Miss Doyle?
Oh, look.
Miss Doyle.
Oh, and he said that with so much love. Miss Doyle, you must have made an impact on Malachi. So I'm going to show them, if you don't mind. It's on the Facebook page, but I have to share Malachi's picture. They all get a picture, and it tells a little bit about them. So I'm going to share Malachi's picture. And there's a lot of them. So that's why I'm scrolling through a lot of children. So you can go there, go to this page to find all. And April is Autism Awareness Month. And so there's a National Autism Association. And this is the month. If you want to learn anything, educate yourself about it. So let me show you Malachi. And not just this month, but every month. Malachi was back, let's see, keep scrolling. He was one of the earlier models that was. There he is. So it says, this is Malachi Smith. Isn't he so handsome? He is modeling in our style show this year. He goes to Homer Drive Elementary and loves to draw and create things. He is a sweet young man, and we love seeing him at ARC events. If you would like to support Malachi or any of our other models, use this link. And so there's Malachi's picture.
That's me.
That's you, Malachi. And so please, there's a link that you can sponsor Malachi and his sponsor model for $100. It's a celebrity style show and dinner. So support Malachi, and there's a mix and mingle that starts at 6. Even if you can't go, support it. Pop, if you're far away and you go, I want to support Malachi, you can go to that website that I put up there and go and find him. If you have trouble, you all know how to contact me on social media and support him. And if you can be there, that's even better. The more fans for Malachi, the better. Right, Miss Smith?
Yes.
Now, Miss Smith, is there anything else you want to share about Malachi or being a mom or a parent of a child with superpowers? I know it can be difficult and frustrating in the beginning. So any tips you want to give out to those parents that may not be watching now or don't feel comfortable asking questions? Any advice for them?
You can join support groups. They have moms that just like you, who goes through some of the same struggles that we deal with on a daily basis, and then it's just a safe community where you can just talk about what's going on and give resources back to one another. One thing that I learned recently is to take my baby to think neurology, Malachi, and I did, and it was an awesome experience because I didn't know with autism that some of the people who's on a spectrum are having seizures. So we had got a sleep study done and stuff like this. So just the different things that I'm learning through the process.
So educate yourselves, reach out to moms. You're not alone, even though
Right.
your child may have extreme behaviors, like Malachi did when I first met him. And Miss Smith, I mean, at sometimes she was like, I don't know what to do. And slowly, she was in my office all the time. And she was scheduling those hours all the time. But it wasn't rude. It was for our future, because Malachi is going to be our future, and she wanted to make sure he was the best supervisor. So parents, don't give up a fight. Don't let people push you away. And Ms. Smith, I appreciate you for trusting me with Malachi, and even after I left, reaching out and saying, am I doing this right? Can I do this? And giving them not your opinion but facts, and
Right.
so, helping those parents along the way. And Miss Henrietta Savoy says, my oldest grandson has autism, a superpower, and he's now in the first year in college and works part-time in San Antonio. So having a support system is important. So Malachi, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Be officer.
Oh, he want to be an officer
An officer. Well, apparently you didn't know that he wanted to be a police.
He catch criminals.
and catch criminals. Okay.
Well, there you go. So you need to step your game up, Miss Smith. You need to step your game up, Miss Smith, and
I
maybe,
know.
I'm going to make a note. I have a lot of police friends, and maybe we can get police a ride along for Malachi.
Oh yes, that'll be awesome.
So I'll reach out, Malachi, and see if we can get you a ride in a police car.
And he drew something else he wanted to
Oh,
show you.
let's see. I can tell he's focused. Let's
It's a
see.
cat.
Raise it up a little. Wow. Now that has to be a fox.
A cat.
A cat. I knew it was a feline. Oh man, that's pretty good. How much is that one? How much is that one, Malachi?
How much is that one?
Oh, can I for $10?
Oh, he said $10.
Pop started that. Free.
Put it up and rest of my quarters.
Oh.
It got more.
You drew all of those tonight?
No, they in that tablet. Mm-hmm.
Oh, over time. Okay, so here we have Dana Reed. Jamie wants a cat. I'll buy the cat painting. So Malachi, you just sold the cat painting. Could you put the cat back up?
Put the cat back up.
Okay.
So Malachi,
Not the smiling critters?
What you just drew? This one?
Oh, maybe.
They go like cat.
so Miss Reed just purchased the cat. So Malachi, you just made $10. Miss Reed, Miss Smith, if you can reach out to me, I'll connect y'all on social media so that y'all can work out Malachi's invoice so that you can pay. So he can get his money, his $10. And Miss Doyle said, or Miss Silas, she's married with 2 little ones. She said, good luck to sweet Malachi. Thanks you for sharing your time and talent. Jamie Gilbert is laughing because Ms. Reed brought a $10 cat painting. And Ms. Fehrenbacher said, wow, he's no longer a starving artist. Have a good rest of the school year. So Ms. Reed, you have bought the first painting from Malachi. And he gave you a heart. Oh, Malachi, make it again, and so she could take a picture with. Okay, if you don't mind, put it in the screen. Now take a picture, Miss Reed. Spitting the phone out. All right, Malachi. Thank you, Malachi. So the crayons, the markers, scheduling the ride along with a police officer, and the sketchbook. I'll make sure because he will remember. Uh,
Yeah.
so I will get those things to you this week.
Okay.
Things, and I'll get with the police officer. And my other Aunt Ella with a cat as her profile, Malachi,
Oh, look, the cat.
she said Malachi is very talented. So who would have known? And Malachi, you did way better than we all thought you would. So, what is your biggest takeaway from this book? Both of you or one of you can answer. Malachi, what did you like most about this book?
He was different.
He was different. What is your takeaway, Miss Smith?
My action figures.
What? No, my takeaway from the book was that there are different superpowers within autism or any disability. So you just have to, well, we have to teach others how to respect other kids with disabilities.
Yes. And my biggest takeaway from this is every time I read this book, I've been around thousands of kids and I've seen all degrees, and we don't need to lump them all together. So, Miss, I will say this about Miss Smith. We had classes SEL, AFL, and she was like, nope, he's going in a regular classroom. And those classes are designed for kids. But if you think your child can be in a regular classroom, fight for them to be in regular classrooms, because look at Malachi. He's grown leaps and bounds.
Right.
So this does not limit them and expound about their powers. And if Malachi likes to draw, now he's, he can pay the rent or something, charge him $10 rent. Staying there. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Malachi.
you.
I want to tell you, if nobody else tells you, Malachi, Dr. George loves you. Okay. And have a great evening on purpose. Miss Smith, hang on, and you still got Miss Jackson, who is a former principal. She said for your child.
Thank you.
Sitting in that seat, it was kind of like, here she comes again. But seeing this, I will tell every parent, and I'd never discouraged you from fighting. I actually would coach you along. Fight for your child, because their disability does not mean they're not able.
That's right.
Good night. You all keep the comments going. Ms. Smith will read them later, and to give Malachi something to read whenever he chooses to read our comments. He'll read them later. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Wave.